The pharmaceutical industry is pouring absolutely massive amounts of money into digital transformation. But what if I told you most of that investment, well, it's just not paying off? See, having a big vision is great, but actually turning that vision into real, measurable value, that is a whole different ballgame. Today, we're going to break down the playbook that separates the winners from everyone else. And the stakes here are just incredibly high. A staggering 60% of digital projects in pharma actually failed to deliver what they promised. Just think about that for a second. That's more than half. You've got teams not talking to each other, new tech that doesn't integrate with the old stuff, and no clear way to even tell if you're winning or losing. That's why these huge, expensive projects so often just fall flat. And the scale of this spending, it's immense. We're talking about a global spend that's expected to hit $18.6 billion by 2025. With that much cash on the line, just having a cool idea isn't going to cut it. You absolutely need a rock-solid, disciplined plan for execution. So that really brings us to the core question, doesn't it? How do you make sure your company, your project, ends up in that winning 40%? Well, the answer is all about moving beyond just talking strategy and getting serious about disciplined execution. This is exactly where the execution playbook comes into the picture. Think of it as the bridge that connects your high-level vision to the actual, tangible results you can take to the bank. It's really about getting all your people, all your systems, all your processes pulling in the same direction. So let's be super clear on what we mean by strategic implementation. This is not just another term for project management. No way. It is a disciplined system, one that aligns every single thing you do with the company's biggest goals. It means you're relentlessly measuring the return on your investment, and, this is the most important part, you're making sure these new ways of working actually stick around for the long haul. The playbook really stands on three main pillars. And you guessed it, it all starts with people. Because without the right leadership, we're talking about a chief digital officer, for example, and teams that are truly empowered to break down those old walls between IT and the business side, well, even the most brilliant technology is doomed to fail. Okay, so once you have the right people in the right seats, you then need the right process. This is the operational backbone of the whole thing. It means having clear rules for how decisions get made, knowing exactly where you are on your digital journey, and rolling out changes in smart, manageable steps, not some chaotic big bang that just causes confusion. And finally, we have technology. This is the engine that really powers your people and your processes. We're talking about a modern cloud-first foundation where all your data can flow freely. This allows you to tap into incredible tools like AI to make smarter decisions, faster than ever before. And look, this is not an overnight fix, not even close. A real successful transformation is a structured 2-year journey. You start by figuring out where you are right now, that's the assessment. Then you build a clear strategy. After that, you test your big ideas with a smaller pilot program. And only then, once you've proven it works, do you scale it across the entire company. Of course, no journey this big is ever a straight line. There are always hurdles. The playbook is basically your map for navigating those really common, really tough challenges that can completely derail a transformation effort. Now, this slide here shows a really critical choice. When you're dealing with those old, clunky legacy systems, what do? On the left, you've got the rip and replace option. It's a huge upfront cost, super disruptive, a really high-risk gamble. The playbook, though, it favors the approach on the right, strategic integration. It's a much smarter, phased approach that unlocks the value from the systems you already have with way less risk. It builds a solid foundation for everything that comes next. You know another place where things go off the rails? Vendor selection. Choosing the wrong partner can absolutely sink your project before it even starts. That's why having a disciplined process, like the one you see here, is so important. It's a 10-month journey from just defining your needs all the way to signing a contract. It takes the guesswork out and makes sure you're not just buying a piece of software, but a real strategic partner. And listen, none of this works without what's called a robust governance model. Now, I know that sounds a little bureaucratic, but think of it as the rules of the road for your transformation. It makes it crystal clear who calls the shots, how you measure success, and who's responsible for what. It's what keeps a multi-million-dollar program from flying off into chaos. So, after all that complexity, after navigating all those challenges, what's the result? Well, this disciplined approach isn't just about avoiding failure. It's about delivering a massive, tangible return on your investment. And this chart really just says it all. The efficiency gains are dramatic. A 40% faster procurement cycle, that means getting critical tools to your scientists months ahead of schedule. A 40% cut in infrastructure costs, that frees up millions of dollars for more research and development. These are not just numbers, they are real game-changing advantages. And the crucial point is how all these operational improvements translate directly to the bottom line. A 15 to 25% boost in efficiency isn't just a nice to have. For a large pharma company, that can mean an extra $6 to $9 million in profit. And this slide just puts it all together beautifully. The total investment for the program is about $17 million. Okay, that's a big number. But look at the return, up to $25 million in value. Not just once, but every single year. The business case here is just undeniable. This isn't an expense, it's one of the highest yield investments a company can possibly make. Okay, so you get these incredible results. How do you make sure they're sustainable? The final piece of the playbook is all about the key principles you need to make sure this transformation actually sticks for good. So here you have it, your final checklist for success. First, remember that phased step-by-step approach to build momentum. Second, you have to get unwavering commitment from the very top. Third, you got to invest in your people, helping them through the change. And finally, you use data to monitor everything, while always keeping a close eye on managing your risks. This is how you embed real change into the DNA of your organization. Which really just leaves us with one final critical question to think about. A strategy on a PowerPoint slide, that's the easy part. But is your execution playbook, your people, your processes, your governance, is it actually ready to deliver the win?